Hey everybody, it's Katie July. So my hair is actually being really annoying for me today, but I'm going to leave it down for the video because on Thursday I'm going to get it cut. So I'm sure I'll race home and make a video and show you guys what it looks like. But part of it is that I've had it long for two and a half years now, and I'm just ready for a change. And actually I feel like I went to Old Navy this week and was in the fitting room, and I just started to feel like it was making me look dowdy to have like the long plain brown hair. My hair looks pretty dark in the videos for some reason, but it's actually pretty light brown. So I'm going to get it cut and colored and go into the stylist and just say, do what you want, and we'll see how that turns out. I've also noticed some hair in the shower. So definitely more than when I was pre-op. Still not a ton, and I don't think anyone else can notice, but whatever. If getting my hair cut short means that there's less huge strands coming out of my head, I think it'll make me feel better. So this is my week 14 gastric bypass post-op update. I started 14 weeks ago at 290. Last week I was 220.8. This morning I am 216.6. So that's a loss of 4.2 pounds. And that's actually my second week in a row losing 4.2 pounds, which is awesome, and I'll totally take it. And it brings my total to 73.4 pounds. Hello, I'm in the 2 teens. That is crazy. And so exciting, like so exciting. The only strangeness, and it actually happened last week, but it wasn't as huge of a deal, is that I've now surpassed my fiance in terms of weight. So I'm smaller than her, and our entire relationship, I've been bigger than her. Which is a little weird, and I feel like it's really hard for her, and at the same time that it's hard for her, it's something that we can't totally talk about a lot, but it is a factor. So, you know, I'm wearing her pants she doesn't like right now, and I've worn this shirt in other videos, and I'm sorry, but I own 4 shirts at the moment. That's it. I went into Old Navy, and I mean, I'm eager to shop, but I just don't have the money to lay down on 10 million shirts. I did go and buy a dress, which is craziness. I haven't worn a dress since junior high, I think. I remember wearing one in 6th grade. I mean, I've worn skirts a ton. I wore skirts a ton in college. But yeah, I put on this little floral dress, and it looked really cute. I think I'm going to get Spanx just because I want to feel tight in my stomach. I feel like my stomach is totally where I'm self-conscious and like, oh my God, it's just out there. And like sitting down, the dress is kind of tight. Standing, it looks fine. So I think I'm going to get Spanx before I actually wear it, but I will wear it in maybe the next video. Maybe. I think I mentioned to last Wednesday I went to a support group. So I went to the one when I was 1 month out, and then I went to this one where I was 3 months out. And it was definitely better. Like maybe half the people there had been in the last one. And then there were a ton of pre-oppers and just a new mix of people. So there were 3 other people there that were 3 months post-op. And it was just really nice to see people in the flesh that were the same stage that I was. And all of them were really nice. We didn't chat much after the meeting, which I kind of feel like that to me is what's going to be helpful, or like where real friendships were formed, is if after the meeting we stick around and chat a little bit. And it was sort of like everyone scattered right away. And then there was one pre-opper that I really liked her questions, and I thought she was approaching the surgery really smartly. There was another guy who was pre-op who, honestly, his entire list of questions were, what about pizza? Can you eat pizza? What about sugar? Can you eat sugar? I'm trying to think. What about pasta? Can you eat pasta? I was just like, and I mean, one of the guys who was a few years post-op and is off like 220 pounds kind of called him out on it and was like, it sounds like you're looking for reasons not to have the surgery, which is fine if he is. Like, and obviously you are wondering all those things before you have the surgery. But it just felt like such a waste of our time to have, you know, 10 post-op patients sitting there going, I can have pizza, I can't have pizza, I eat the toppings. I can have sugar, I can't eat sugar, I can have a little bit of, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of crazy, stupid polls are we doing? So obviously I was annoyed. But overall it was good, and I think, I mean, I wouldn't go more often than once a month, but I think once a month is totally fine. And because it's led by the nutritionist, I actually feel like it's a pretty easy, sneaky way to bring up some of my nutrition questions. And listening, I hear all my cats making a ruckus. Bring up my nutrition questions and see, get answers rather than, now I don't see my nutritionist again for another 3 months. So the thing I will put out there about this week, and I almost wasn't going to say it because, hello, I lost 4.2 pounds this week. That's awesome. But I feel like this week was not totally focused. And what I mean by that is, like, I went to the gym twice this week, which, I mean, going from 5 times to 2 times definitely feels like a huge step down. In my defense, I was active 6 days this week, so the days that I wasn't going to the gym, I would take long walks, at least 1.5 miles, usually 2 miles in the evenings. But still, a 2-mile walk on a sidewalk at, like, a normal pace still feels really, really different than, like, getting on that elliptical for 30 minutes or that treadmill for 45 minutes. So, and I mean, I didn't do arm weights at all, which I think I'm going to buy some just handheld weights for the apartment so that I can do arm weights when I'm watching TV and stuff. But it definitely felt like the exercise had kind of taken a step back. And then also the eating, which, not that I've been eating crap by any means, but I did have 2 days this week where I was over 800 calories, and my goal before was 650. So the last month I averaged 650 calories. This month, going into month 4, I've decided I'm going to average 700. I need to increase it a little bit because I'm going to the gym and because I want, like, different foods than I wanted last month. I don't know. It just feels like it's trending upward, and that's okay to just accept that 700 is where I naturally am in a day instead of trying to keep myself at 650 and being a little bit miserable about that. And my nutritionist said as long as I'm under 800, it's fine. So I feel like if I take the next 3 months to slowly go up to 800 calories, I'll be totally fine with that. But what I mean about eating isn't that I'm eating junk, it's that I'm not planning as much. So waking up and being like, oh, la, 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 like, I'll have this, I'll have a protein shake at night, and then having kind of whatever I want for lunch, still thinking protein first, but coming home and sometimes having to eat 20 more grams of protein and sometimes having to eat 2 more grams of protein. And I came home yesterday and I was over 60 grams of protein. And it's just sort of all over the place in terms of not knowing till the end of the day what I need and not keeping track during the day and not planning and feeling like I'm just not as on it. You know what I mean? Which I guess is still fine because my average actually wasn't that bad. I still lost weight, like, fine. But I like feeling a little bit more in control and a little bit more like I'm deciding what my day is going to be like, And then also the third component of this, which is vitamins, was also sort of a crappy week for me. So I ran out of my multivitamins, which is poor planning. You know what I mean? So I kind of went almost a whole week with no multivitamins. It just feels blah. So this week I'm like, okay, clear the head, back to basics. I was tracking, but I'm starting the Lose It program, the Lose It Track It on the iPhone, which I got, which I'm so excited about, which means I'll have it with me always, so I can just track my breakfast on the train on the way to work rather than waiting it all up and at the end of the day plugging it into my computer. So hopefully that works better. The only other thing, which is really exciting actually, is that on Sunday, my best friend who lives in D.C. came up to the city, and he was only here for 1 day. So I hadn't told him about this surgery, and I hadn't seen him, and I fully intended to tell him when I saw him, and I told him when I saw him. But I hadn't told him yet, and I hadn't seen him since October. So we met for brunch. We were just on the street corner, whatever. I was waiting for him, and he showed up, and he was like, oh, my God, are you training for a marathon or something? Which that felt so, so, so good. Like, I have friends here who see me pretty often and are like, oh, you look really good. Oh, it's really noticeable. But, like, to just have such a huge, could not contain himself, could not be polite about it reaction was really nice. And I'm actually really glad I didn't tell him before. You see my cat? I'm glad I didn't tell him before because I feel like maybe if he'd come up to me and been like, oh, my God, you look so good, I would have been like, oh, he knows to say, just like all my crazy self-doubt about how much people can really tell. So him just really noticing on his own felt awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So day before yesterday, I had a really bad stomach day, and I threw up after eating some sushi. Eating too fast, that's all it was. But this week, back to basics, totally clearing my head of all my not planning, not taking my vitamins on time, eating too fast, like on-the-go lifestyle. That was the old Kate. This person, I am going to be a planner, and I'm going to take the time that it requires to eat right for me. So that's my goal for this week. Hope you guys have a really good week and be healthy. I'm sure I'll be making a video super soon.